Evening, everybody. Icy here. Good news. The state of Texas is considering building a military base along the U.S.-Mexican border. This is very beneficial for the United States and for the state of Texas in that military bases are off limits to all civilians, regardless of who you are. Unless you are cordially invited, you're not allowed to be on those bases, which in a sense makes it deadly force if you are trespassing. In other words, you come on there illegally, they can legally shoot you. It's going to send one heck of a message to the illegals coming across that now if you happen to try to cross the river getting into Texas and it is declared a military installation, they have the right to shoot to kill. There are a lot of military bases that actually have those same warning signs put up all over. So this would be a good thing for the nation as a whole, because it's going to send a good, strong, clear message that the games are over. We're tired of being the babysitters of the world. We're trying to be the ones that are always forking out all the money and taking care of the dregs of everyone else's society. These people are not the best citizens that are coming across. They are normally, people that they pulled out of the prisons and said, go to the U.S. and your records will be cleaned here. You could start a new crime wave in the United States is what it seems to be. So, Bravo Zulu, Texas, I hope you do build the installation. The entire length of the border between El Paso and New Mexico. Right, the entire length. And it ain't got to be that big. Maybe 3 miles wide. But that's going to be a long, long base. But what that does too is it prevents the U.S. Border Patrol from being on there, because they don't have authorization to be on any military installation, especially a state-controlled military installation. And it'll also allow the border agents to be focused on one particular section, and they can really deal with the massive numbers of illegals coming here. Maybe, with luck, they'll get their heads out of their butts and they'll start just shipping them back without processing. Wouldn't that be amazing, right? Okay, now we got our glorious New York State Governor Hochul is now trying to get, if you're going to buy a rifle or a shotgun, you have to go and get evaluated by a mental health professional. In other words, this is another way for them to circumvent the Second Amendment. If you got PTSD, that's considered a mental issue. They can deny you a weapon. If you have an anxiety issue, they can deny you a weapon. If you felt that you wanted to speak to a mental health professional and find out why you have a habit of drinking too much, they can deny you the right to purchase a weapon, because their mental health professionals that are going to be doing the evaluations are all going to be supporters of the New York governor. So basically it's another way to circumvent the Second Amendment legally and prevent you from purchasing a weapon. Now, that makes two within less than a year actions by this governor to prevent people from owning and using weapons in the state of New York. Funny thing is that she's going after law-abiding citizens that have no criminal record, that obey the law. Namely, okay, I got caught on a radar gun, for speeding. Okay, I paid my speeding ticket. No big deal. I didn't really, do anything dramatically bad, but I may have been distracted while I was driving. But they're going to use your driving record against you and deny you the right to purchase ammunition. Also in New York State now, it takes over 30 days just to do a background test check on you to see if you could purchase ammunition. Now they want you to go for a mental health evaluation before they allow you to purchase a rifle. This is all to prevent you from owning a weapon. And they also said that if they feel that you are not mentally qualified to have a weapon, if you go to buy one, the law is written so that they can go to your house unannounced and confiscate all your weapons as well. So this is essentially Communist 101. This is how you control the people. And this is what this governor is trying to do. She wouldn't pass a mental health physical on her own, so she's making everybody else do it according to her rules and regulations. All right, so that's what's going on in New York. I feel for the people of California. We got all that massive rain that's just tearing the whole state apart. And I mean, I lived in California for 3 years. I mean, it's a beautiful state. I love it, but it's run by morons. And it's supported by morons, and I'll explain. When I was living there, they wouldn't do anything about the illegals, and a lot of the local hospitals, the smaller hospitals, were having to close up because under federal law, emergency rooms have to treat the wounded, the sick, regardless. Whether they get paid or not, they have to treat them. The illegals were using all of the emergency rooms as their own personal medical facilities, and hospitals were running out of money and they could no longer stay open. So this is back in the 90s, and a lot of hospitals closed. Now, during that time, and up till today, you have these environmentalists, tree huggers, or whatever you want to call them, have been pressuring the state of California to go after ranchers that build catch basins for water, to sit there and remove the brush from around dead trees and stuff, because they're saying that doing so tampers with the environment. It is a natural, state for this stuff to lay there. You're not supposed to disturb it. You're not supposed to do any digging or anything in this location, because a specific amphib, like a frog or salamander or an insect, resides in this area, or they found the remains of one and they say you have to protect this because this is a natural habitat for this creature. Well, by doing that, what they did was they essentially destroyed the state. You can't build catch basins, you can't build dams, you can't build retaining walls to divert the flow of water away from certain areas within the state. And now you have all this forest fires, which decimate the sides of mountains. If the trees are destroyed, then the root bases are gone. If the root bases are gone, the soil is loosened up, and you're going to have massive amounts of mudslides, provided if there's a lot of rain. Now you're getting a lot of rain, you're having a massive amount of mudslides. It's taking out houses, taking out roads. It's basically destroying billions of dollars worth of infrastructure, because they listen to the crazy environmental tree huggers instead of common sense. Ranchers and farmers know better than anyone how to protect the land. Hands down, you can't beat the knowledge that ranchers and farmers have in regards to protecting livestock and the land. No one wants to listen to them. They find them hundreds of thousands of dollars. This one guy, I remember reading, it was like maybe 15 years ago, he built himself a couple of ponds on his property, and he had water runoff coming from streams and stuff, and he diverted the water to go in so he could fill it up. Just by diverting the water, he changed the landscape of the environment, and the state EPA, tree huggers, whatever you want to call them, they jumped all over this guy, basically, handed him his own butt and made him pay an ungodly amount of, fines and everything. It basically destroyed his whole farm because he couldn't protect his farm. What he knew was the best way to do it. The animals, no water, animals, they dehydrate, they die. And, so if you got no water, you can't, irrigate for your crops. And and so this is what happened. So they're losing all this property and everything. I basically saying God is just getting back at them. So good for God. Okay, so those are our main ones for tonight. And a short note, Alexei Navalny, I believe it is, the Russian politician who was going up against Vladimir Putin. Putin is a communist. He's always been a communist. I don't care what he says he is, he's a communist. He was a member of the KGB. He tried to kill this guy before. The guy had underwear on. It turns out it was laced with a poison. Got into his system. Thankfully, the plane landed and they saved him. But he went back to Russia a couple of years ago, and the first thing they did when he got off the plane is arrest him. For what? Because he was a political opponent against Putin? Now he's dead in prison. It seems to be a communist playbook. Xi did the same thing with one of his foreign dignitaries. The guy didn't do what he wanted. Xi put him in prison. The guy's dead now. This is what is happening in our country today. The Biden administration, Merrick Garland, Alejandro Mayorkas, and Anthony Blinken, and Kamala Harris. They're weaponizing our government against the people. I'm sorry, but it's true. From the day Donald Trump said he was going to run for president all those years ago, he has been a target of the Democrats. He has been in a unending battle since 2015. And look what they've done to him already. This is uncalled for. This is what communists do. I'm sorry, I'm a history major. I study history, and this is what communists do. They destroy their opponents. They destroy their opponents' families. They use it as a tool to scare other people to not go against them. Because this is what we will do to you if you come after me. It's typical communist actions, and you people have got to figure out what you want. I pray you elect Donald Trump this coming election, because at least he knows who the enemies are, and he's going to get rid of them. If not, we're going to be just like communist China and Russia, Cuba, Vietnam, where everybody's going to be afraid to say anything. ICY out.